Joining us now from The Dispatch, senior writer and author of In Trump's Shadow, David Drucker. So, David, the trial is ongoing. Donald Trump is not on the campaign trail, but we should note this is usually a pretty quiet time on the campaign trail regardless, when the nominations are all but set before the conventions. This is a fundraising moment for the campaign, getting all your ducks in order before the general election really begins in earnest over the summer. Donald Trump is sending out fundraising emails based on what's happening in court. Here's one of them. Breaking from Trump: rigged Democrat judge rules against me. A Democrat judge just held me in contempt of court. I was fined $9,000 for 9 gag order violations. They want to silence me. And then it's a link asking for fundraising from the people that the email is sent to. How is the campaign, from your understanding, handling all of this? Do they see this as a potential gift, or are they worried about the implications of Donald Trump being in court?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Certainly, they're using the trial as an opportunity to energize the former president's base. It's this base that has often donated tens of millions and millions of dollars in small donations. Donald Trump really is the best online fundraiser the Republican Party has ever had. Over the last couple of years, we have seen him less effective in doing so. We've seen Republican grassroots donor giving a lot less than Democratic grassroots donors. And so the online platform Act Blue that collects a bunch of donations for Democratic committees, state parties, and candidates continues to perform like gangbusters. The Win Red, which was the Republican answer to Act Blue, which came online during the Trump presidency, grew immensely, but things have kind of stalled out. And this is not just a Trump thing. This is Republican candidates and committees across the board. We saw it particularly in the 2022 election cycle, and this sort of malaise has continued. Ultimately the question is, will Donald Trump raise enough? He doesn't need to raise more than Joe Biden. He probably won't, but he just needs to raise enough. We'll see if he does.
Let me ask you, in terms of enthusiasm, is that a red flag for enthusiasm for not just Donald Trump, but Republicans in general? You're talking about 2022. Republicans didn't do well in 2022, and they haven't done well since Donald Trump lost the election. Well, before that, since 2018, when Democrats won back the House. It's been they've been on a downward slope in terms of gaining back seats and momentum.
Right. So there are two ways to look at that, Katie, and you raised some good points. Let's look at 2020 from this vantage point. I think it's pretty clear, and I talked to Mr. Trump about this after the 2020 election, that he cost Republicans control of the Senate, particularly by telling voters in Georgia not to vote in those 2 special runoff elections on January 5th, 2021. But the turnout that he was able to generate in the November election helped Republicans flip 14 House seats. So their House their collection of House races grew, even though they lost Senate seats, and even though Donald Trump lost that election to Joe Biden, turnout for him was still pretty darn good. And so I think the question is, will he get the turnout he needs, and will he get the votes? Sometimes the money doesn't come in because maybe people are looking at their finances, looking at inflation. That's one of the things Republicans have talked to me about, strategists that they've blamed for some of this downtick in donations. It may affect down-ticket candidates. It may not affect Trump. When he's been on the ballot, he's been able to generate a lot of turnout from low-propensity voters who don't normally show up if he's not on the ballot. So I don't think we actually can say either way that what we're seeing now is going to translate into a negative turnout on Election Day.
That's true. We don't quite know yet, but I think the Democrats might argue the opposite, which is that all of the fundraising they're seeing from small donors is showing certainly an enthusiasm on their side. And when it comes to the economy and inflation, everyone's facing the same sort of things. Democrats will say the economy is doing quite well. Economists will tell you the economy is doing quite well. David Drucker, really good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Katie.